Welcome back, everyone, to Parks Racing for Let's Go Racing, and it's time for our feature segment this week, and we have a very special guest we'd like to welcome in, and he is author Alex Brown. Alex has penned the book. It's right here. It is Greatness and Goodness, Barbaro and His Legacy. And Alex, thank you for joining us here on the program today. Alex, let's talk about the book. Barbaro has been written about before many times. What was your motivation in taking on the project?
I was fortunate enough actually to get authorization from the Jacksons to write the book, and that sort of allowed me to interview many people, really get involved in the story at a pretty deep level. And during Barbaro's life, I kind of knew the horse a little bit. I got involved a little bit while she was at New Bolton Center. And, you know, I just have a real passion for this horse and for this horse's story, and I wanted to tell that story.
Well, we all know about his great legacy and what he did on the racetrack. You've seen a lot of the stuff behind the scenes. Give us a little tidbit, something interesting about Barbaro that the fans might not know about.
Well, I mean, obviously, one thing the fans do know about is Barbaro was just a special horse. I mean, he was a terrific racehorse. A couple of things that I address in the book that perhaps weren't public information before I wrote the book. I mean, he was very close to getting out of New Bolton Center within a week of shipping down to Three Chimneys, where he was going to spend the rest of his life. In fact, Three Chimneys has a structure they built for Barbaro that they use today. So, I mean, you know, some people will question why the effort was made to save him. I will answer, well, you know what, they very nearly made it, and it was a terrific effort all around.
Alex, what people do know that follow the story, you had the website almost from the very beginning because you were down at Fairhill where Barbaro was stable. What was that like through all those days? Because it was almost, 9 months from the Preakness to when he had to be put down. What was all that like for you?
It was interesting. I mean, I'm a horseman firstly, and I'm also a bit of a marketing geek. I'm a marketing professor at the University of Delaware, and I was kind of combining all my strengths into this one project. I ran a blog for my friend Tim Woolley, and we kept everybody apprised of Barbaro's status. It was a fascinating time of my life and stuff, and I'll tell you, it absolutely changed my life. I had a pretty traditional career prior to Barbaro, and now I don't. I'm now an author, which is kind of cool, though.
You and I talked about this because you asked me this question. I'll turn it back on you. If he'd had a chance to go on, how good a racehorse was this horse going to be?
Personally, I think he could have been absolutely any kind of horse. I mean, he's undefeated. We love an undefeated horse. He brilliant on the grass. He won on a sloppy racetrack, brilliant on the dirt. I think his Derby performance was as good as any horse in Secretariat in terms of a dominating performance. He was just getting going. Peter Brett will tell you he was just getting going. And I really do believe the Jacksons and Michael Matz had a very they were really going to campaign this horse, and he was probably going to go back on the turf at some point. He might have gone to Europe. He could have been, I mean, I'm getting goosebumps now just thinking what could have happened.
Alex, you're no stranger to horse racing and the game at all. Why don't you tell the folks a little bit, let's get a little bit about Alex Brown. What's your background in horse racing?
Originally, I came to this country actually to ride horses. I worked for Michael Dickinson, who's, you know, many people in racing know that name for a couple of good reasons. And I've actually had a dual career galloping horses and working at universities, which has been kind of fun for me. The last couple of years doing research for the book, I was actually traveling around different racetracks, working for Steve Asmussen. So the 2 years he won an Eclipse Award, I worked for him, so go figure.
And Alex, to put together a book like this, it doesn't happen overnight. Tell the people how long you were involved in this project from start to finish and really to put out the finished product.
Sure. In '07, I decided I was going to write this book. I wrote a couple of chapters, I interviewed some people, and then I went on the road and did some research, and I traveled around for a couple of years. And I'd say along the way, I lost sight of the project a little bit, but when I got back to my home in '09, I live right by Fairhill Training Center, the end of '09, I was like, I either write this book or I've got to go find a job. So I decided to really go for it. I galloped a few horses at Fairhill to earn a bit of cash for Michael Pino, but basically full-time that year interviewing a lot of people, including Dick Girardi. And I will tell you that some of the insights that Dick gave me were exactly my thinking in terms of, we talked in detail from race to race, sort of Barbaro and sort of Dick's thoughts after each race and stuff, and it was pretty fascinating to hear my own thoughts being mirrored by someone as you know, well respected in the sport. So I basically spent all of 2010 putting this book together, and then I published it, and it is a self-published book. It's I had to go on my own. I'm kind of like an entrepreneur now.
Right.